Chair Gary Delbo.
Yes.
Vice Chair Matt Schuler.
Here.
Alder Randy Scannell.
Present.
Debbie Dean. Kathy Hinkfist.
Here.
Melanie Parma.
Wow.
Here.
Everybody's aboard. Excellent, thank you.
Games.
Approval of the agenda, although I think we're gonna make a change.
I'd like to request if we could move number 8 up to number 1.
Okay.
Move to approve the agenda by moving number 8 up to number 1.
I'll second that.
With the change, all those in favor of the agenda, please signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Agenda is set. Approval of minutes from January 9th.
I move to approve those minutes.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve minutes from January 2nd. All those in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Number 8 is consideration of possible action to approve a service authorization agreement with BSA for investigation of sprinkler piping failure and specifications to repair damaged areas at the KI Convention Center.
Glenn Schober.
Oh. Yeah.
So that's me, and I've actually asked Trista Hobbs to join me. She's the engineer from Public Works to talk about this. We'll need to probably do a different action on this agenda item. But we did have a water leak at the KI that affected our sprinkler system. And you know what? Trista, why don't you come on out? She's really, no, she's staff, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Krista Hobbs with DPW. So what happened there is over the course of that real cold snap that we had this winter.
Those like 5 days we had.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna be the smart aleck.
We ended up having 2 actual sprinkler breaks within that westward pumping stairwell. So that happened on a Thursday and Friday. We were able to get those repaired, but there was substantial damage to the fireproofing, the firewall, the finishes on the outside of the stairwells. So the SAA that you see in your packet that Cheryl was able to sign off on originally as we were evolving in the situation, we were planning to have 2 separate kind of designs. Excuse me, some of the fireproofing and the, excuse me,
Like some coffee?
Some of the fireproofing and the firewalls within that structure are damaged. And so the thought was, well, let's get those put back right away to make sure that the structure is sound and safe. As we got into that further, we were thinking that that was going to be a lower dollar value than it is, and we could get that done quickly. As we got into it further, dollar value went up, and we're going to have to bid it out anyway. We worked with the fire marshal to come up with a plan that the KI can continue to function as they are, and everything's okay and signed off by them. So then we're going to, instead of doing 2 phases of construction, we're doing 1. Bid it all out as 1. We can save some costs on the BSA's end by doing 1 package instead of 2. So at some point, we may have another amendment to that SAA, just to cover the costs that we weren't planning on in the first phase. But then what he will definitely in the future needs to give approval for are the actual repairs once we get them bid out.
So at this point, Joanne, if we just receive and place this on file, this agenda item, at this point, is that what we can do with this one? And you'll come back to come
You don't
back.
want to approve, you're not ready to approve the 2 together?
We don't really have the estimates, we're gonna do numbers.
Oh, okay.
So it'll be probably April or better before we actually get it bid out and come back with the cost for the repairs.
In the meantime, like you said earlier, that we can continue using the KI.
Correct. Yep, we worked through that all with fire marshals and of course that.
But we're not in violation of any inspections is happy with us?
Yes, they are.
And will any of this be covered by insurance?
That is all in the works.
Okay.
Okay.
And what about kind of just root cause? Because it wasn't that cold, and it wasn't that long by Green Bay standards. And so then it just gets a whole bunch of things going about, well, why did this happen?
Yeah, so part of what we're looking at is kind of developing a root cause analysis, so that we make sure that we are addressing that. So we don't have all that information yet, but that's part of what that second phase was going to be.
Okay.
So we're condensing that into 1 now. We're still getting there.
And is there anything here that's a design flaw?
I don't have that information at this time.
Okay. But we will determine whether there was or not.
That is the goal.
That's the design.
Any other questions? Thank you. Thank you very much. Excellent update.
Thanks, Trista.
Motion received and placed on file. Second.
Motion, Alderman Stanton, second by Kathy to be placed on file. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Thanks for the update. I'm glad we continue using the KIS, critical. All right. Number 1, consideration of possible action to approve a 3-month extension to the planning option to Cherry Creek Properties for the site located in 436 South Monroe Avenue. Okay.
I'm going to take that one, Gary, down here.
Oh, thanks, Robin.
Now, if you remember that in May of last year, you guys approved a planning option to Cherry Creek Properties, and that was for the development of a 4-story mixed-use building up to 33 units and with ground floor retail, and that was going to be located on the corner of Chicago and Monroe.
Yeah.
Since that time, we have provided them with an additional 3-month extension, allowing the developer to work through more site plans and financial commitment. During that time, and due to current interest rates, the developer had to come back out and start working with other lenders, to bring financial commitment forward. At this time, they do not have any formal commitment. I have spoken to the primary lender, and they've stated that before they can make a final decision or even submit the package to underwriting, that they still needed additional information, which was some information from the developer and information from the possibility of 2 other investors. There's one investor that has provided proof of intent to assist with raising funds, but we don't have any actual funds in place at this time. So due to the financial support or the lack of actually having financial support, us as staff are recommending that the RDA not approve a 3-month extension to the planning option at this time, so that the possibility of a new RFP could be set out for other developers. And I will say at this time, we have had through this time that we've been waiting to find out about financial commitment here, we have had other developers ask us about the site. So that's kind of why we're changing. Now, I do know that the developer is here, so if you guys need to open the floor, Dewan is available if you guys have any questions.
If there's any questions?
I'm certainly open to opening the floor and understanding, because there's something in the packet about information to be received by the 16th, which is like 3 days away.
Correct.
And is there something there about a hard commitment on financing? If it's just a commitment to help solicit financing, that to me is really different than financing.
So far what I've gotten is, yes, exactly what you said from E-States. I had gotten the letter of commitment to assist with raising funds. The primary lender that I've spoken to, they have a letter of intent. There's nothing they can do at this point, looking at the package, gathering the information. He just hasn't gotten all the pieces put together to send it into underwriting, so he can't give me a concrete answer, and he doesn't want to put it out there for that.
And by opening up to other proposals, it doesn't mean they can't submit.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I have indicated that to the developer, that if we do open this up to other developers or go back out for RFP, and they do come up with the funding and they do still work forward, doesn't mean that we can't still bring that back.
We can certainly open up if you want to.
Well, if the developer has anything he'd like to address to us, that's my hearing it.
Let's do it.
Okay, motion open the floor.
Second.
Second by Kathy. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, this is Dewan, he is the developer for Cherry Faith Properties. Did we lose our little thing here? Okay, sorry about that.
A lot easier than
I knew it was a little heavier than
A
that.
little to the left now.
All right, so going off of, well, let me also state this as well too. I just want to like to thank Rhonda for the amount of help that she, assisted, every single email, every single phone call, even meeting as well. She's just been very, very quick to support me on this project. And, obviously kind of going back off what she said as well too. So I do have a letter here. Once again, this is not a financial commitment letter. I just want to be very transparent about that. But these are a letter from my banker stating the things that I have submitted so far. So my tax returns, personal statements, and things like that. And the only thing that Aaron himself is waiting for is just the same information from Impact 7 and also big partner. And once again, this is moving out what is potentially doing a joint venture and being a part of this as well too. So obviously, I'll say if you would like, you can definitely pass this around. We selected option 2, which is basically kind of doing the joint venture as well. I say all this to say, when I spoke with Aaron and, I said, okay, I'm doing my absolute best to make sure tax returns and personal financial statements. That's essentially the biggest ticket items that Aaron needs from the other parties that are interested in doing this, right? I submitted all of my material. Now he's just waiting on the same material from the, partners that I have selected. So there is a subordination letter, and I've had this conversation with Ron as well too. So the subordination letter is basically rules that you can and cannot abide by when they're partnering with specific financial institutions, right? So I sent that to Aaron, and I included him in the same email with Tom, who's the Vice President of Business Development there at Impact 7 as well, too. And I said, well, essentially, you just have to give Tom a yes or no if you can, abide by the subordination letter that I had sent. Aaron got Tom on the phone and basically said, okay, I need to send it to my legal, or the bank's legal team, because they would come in a second position, subordinate debt, with, supporting with $3 million to the project as well too. So of course, at the end of the day, it's just waiting, right? It's just conversation after conversation after conversation, but essentially it's waiting. So once again, the bank has my information. All they need is the information from my partners. When I say information, I mean personal financial statements, tax returns. As soon as they have that information, underwriting, they can completely underwrite it and give me that commitment letter that I need to present to you all today. Now, at the end of the day, I understand, because I want to make sure that at the end of the day, from your shoes, from your perspective, okay, this would be the 4th, extension, right? Can you guarantee, do you have the full confidence to get this done, Dewan? And I want to make sure I fully understand that, right? This thing has been extremely difficult, specifically with the lending environment, right? And I believe I talked about that in the last extension. If this was 3 months ago, I wouldn't have been standing here and saying I have a bank whatsoever. I do have a bank now, which is obviously Progress, that just is honestly waiting on materials from the other parties. So I did inform Rhonda that if we don't get the extension today, then I'll be back, what is it, March 11th, same RFP with the actual commitment letter with the materials that are needed. So I did spoke with Aaron and said, hey, if those parties can get me the information as quickly as possible, I'll get you that commitment letter by the 16th, which is this Friday. So once again, it's just, me jumping on the phone, emailing Tom and saying, hey, we really need this. We were trying to make this thing happen. And, from the RDA's perspective, right, that's really the biggest ticket item. And we've had numerous conversations about that. If they had a commitment letter today, this would be easy peasy. But at the end of the day, it's just a waiting game. And that's all I can do is just kind of put my foot on the gas with my other partners involved and saying, we really need this done, right? And to me, to the RDA, at the end of the day, they need that letter. And to me, all I can do is just put my foot on the gas. And that's pretty much close to the finish line that I can say has been happening so far. We finally have a banker, we have strong partners involved with the project. If we're able to do that 16th, then we'll still be able to commit to a March 4th groundbreaking, ending on April 11th of 2025, or April 8th, 2025. So we'll still be able to make that timeline. At the end of the day, it's just waiting on my end, and that's it.
Because if we don't extend this, does that hurt your process at all?
So then the new timeline would be April. So if we were to not get the extension, I'll come back in the next RDA meeting, Fingers crossed that, of course, it's accepted, but then the actual groundbreaking will be April. And my Alliance Construction and Design did send me 3 options in case something had happened. Send me the February timeline if we broke ground, what the March timeline would be if we broke ground, and what the April would be if we broke ground. Obviously, we wanted to finish before the 2025 NFL draft, but if we were not, then I'm just happy to get it done.
And do you believe there's any non-zero chance you can have your commitment letter by end of day Friday?
To clarify that question again, so, yeah.
Can you have your commitment letter by Friday?
That's what I'm that's what I'm hoping for. And once again, that's just me getting on the phone and say, hey, we need to get this done. Because at the end of the day, that's all I can do.
Yep.
And I just want to be very transparent about that as well, too. Right, I'm not in the office, I'm not, I can only pick up the phone and say, hey, we got to get this done.
No, totally,
Yeah.
totally understood.
Yeah.
It's just, that was in some of the documentation.
Yes.
And I'm certainly
Yes.
supportive of,
Yes.
hey, extending this through the end of the week. Since we're that close and he's put that date out there, I'm certainly willing to do that.
I think regardless of what happens, it's the next RDA meeting where something would have to happen. I mean, if you wanted to grant a 30-day extension contingent on that paperwork coming in, like on Friday, you could do something to that effect.
And then Ron, if we did open this up again to other planning options, if you will, how long a planning period would that be?
When would you put out an RFP?
Probably within the next 60 days. So if, like what Cheryl was saying, if you wanted to do something where it was that 30 days, I mean, I guess it's definitely something that I can comfortably say to you guys that I'm okay with. The only other concern that I've had is I've made numerous requests, because I would have liked at least gotten a letter of intent from Impact 7, who they're desperately trying to work with to get that. That never came to fruition. So that's where, I guess, my hesitation is about whether we would have it by Friday.
Right.
That's why
Technically speaking, though, we would not, we would not have to go back out for an RFP again. We've RFP'd this site, so
Correct.
technically speaking,
Right.
once that option runs up, a developer could come forward and want to present something to the RDA in March. So,
Right.
So if we extended this 30 days though,
right.
it's still got to come to the RDA again, so he wouldn't be able to get his shovel in the ground by March 4th.
I think it would be difficult to get your shovel in the ground,
Yeah, that's-
even if you got all your financing in place today.
Yeah.
Just going to take so long to close and get things coordinated, but.
Permits, everything, I think it'd be hard to do that
Right.
March 4th date at this point.
It's really more the commitment, it's really more, I think, for us, it's just that pro forma to see where the financing is. Can you do this project? Do you have the backing? How's it all coming together?
Right.
That's what we're looking for, is that
Absolutely.
commitment. So,
We are.
right, so I think
Yeah.
that's, and you're thinking that hopefully by the end of, like, the
Yes,
16th, you would
that-
have something from the bank who's underwriting right now, I think?
Yeah, so,
Okay.
so Aaron, and this is once again, this is the recent letter that was sent to me, that's
Yep.
basically stating all the things that I myself have turned in.
Right.
Right, it's just waiting on the other parties involved.
But they still have to underwrite it and commit to it though as well.
Yes.
It's not, like, that's not a given at this point.
No,
because
yes,
they're
they still have to do,
looking at
yeah,
all
as a
that.
bank, they still have to do their due
So they're
diligence,
they're
yeah.
doing some work yet as well.
Yeah, understand that he can't give us the, hey, I got
Right,
this locked,
right,
or
right.
unless, 90% of the project flows in equity. and
Right.
that kind of thing
Yeah.
happens now. But I'd certainly be willing to go to the next meeting, given it doesn't.
I'm comfortable with that.
Right.
I would agree go with the 30-day extension and
If you get other questions for the developer, we'll go back to regular business.
I'm good. Motion to go back
Motion,
to
Kathy?
regular business?
Second by Ms. Cannon. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So we're back to regular order of business.
I will make a motion that we extend the planning option for 30 days to allow us to kind of move this forward at the next RDA or, move it forward to another developer.
Ralph, do you live with that?
Yes, I have spoken to the primary lender, and I do know that exactly what the developer is saying is where he's at. So I'm comfortable with saying that if we don't know something in the next 30 days,
Yep.
I'm comfortable with that part of
I'd
it.
love to see the project go through.
There's a motion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely see the
Go
project.
through. Yeah.
Yep.
Debbie, Melanie, I haven't heard you guys talk yet. Melanie, you got any thoughts?
Nope, no thoughts on this one. I agree with the motion. Makes sense. Give them another 30 days and we'll talk again at the next meeting.
We have a motion, looking for a second.
Second.
No,
I'll second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so the motion, second, Matt, and Ms. Scannell. Questions or comments in regards to the motion? If not, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed, motion carried. Thank you, thanks, Rhonda. Thank you.
Yeah.
Number 2, consideration of possible action on home funding request from Greater Green Bay Habitat for Humanity to build a home at 1008 Smith Street.
Krista?
Yep. Habitat has submitted a home application for us to to fill a gap financing for a single-family build on 1008 Smith Street. It's going to be a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, portable, single-family home. They have the buyer in hand, and they're ready to go. And this is the site plan, and then that was the home. Oh, and the gap is $20,390, which is in line with what we have in the past done with Habitat for single-family builds.
And you mentioned this earlier, Christopher, not in the meeting, make it mention again.
Sure.
All 3 of these requests are very similar, but they're for different dollar amounts.
Yeah, they're for different dollar amounts. It's dependent on the family's income and then also on what they're having done to the house. So this one will be a 2-bedroom. There will be the other 2 are 4-bedroom, 2 baths. So there's a little bit of difference in the price to construct it based on if they're building out the basement or not, and then also the family income, what they can provide.
And the definition that comes out of the home funding request, this project's in line with that.
Oh, yes, yes. This is how, this is one of our tools to help create affordable housing
And
using the
obviously-
home funds.
Yes, and obviously, Green Bay Habitat for Humanity has been great partners.
Yes, yes, we
Absolutely.
partner with them for many years.
Questions for Krista?
Just one.
Yeah.
The definition of affordable in here,
Yes,
how is that determined, or what's the
it's,
definition around that?
affordable is 80% or below area median income for the city of Green Bay.
The payments that the owner makes,
Mhm.
or the value of the home relative to?
It's not based on that, it's based on the family income
Okay.
of the home.
So it's what their payments would be relative to their income, is what defines affordable?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm just trying to
If I-
understand.
And well, just to add to another calculation is also that a household shouldn't be paying more than 30% of their annual income towards housing expenses, so that's rent or mortgage plus utilities.
Okay.
So that's the common calculation that's used to determine what their mortgage payments or rent payments would be.
And that's what defines it then federally as affordable.
Right, but for our home programs, it's the income of the family.
It's the income of the
80%.
family. Yes.
Of the income of that family.
Of that family.
And hence why the funding can vary.
Yep.
Makes sense. Any other questions for Krista?
Motion to approve.
Alderman Scannell, motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Second by Matt. Questions or comments in regards to the motion? If not, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Hey,
Oh. Debbie, do you have a question? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I saw you raise your hand, sorry. Okay, it's been approved. Number 3 and number 4 are very similar, just
Yes.
in different locations.
Yep, different home buyers in different locations, the same building plan.
Did we suspend the rules and take them both up?
What are you doing that time? Number 3, that's number 3. Yes, number 3. Number 3, the motion for, to approve number 3.
So moved.
Second.
All right.
Second.
Debbie? Debbie's stuck in there.
I was just
That's
seconding.
good.
Alderman Scannell and Debbie. Questions or comments in regard to the motion? If not, all in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried, thank you. Number 4, this one's at 1151 Reader Street. Similar situation.
Yep,
Um,
same situation.
Same design, so some are finishing off the basement and some are not.
Right.
Move to approve.
Second.
Oh, Kathy made the motion, second by Alderman Scannell. Questions or comments in regard to the motion? If not, all in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Thank you, excellent job. Great partners. Number 5, consideration of possible action to approve a 1-year development agreement with NeighborWorks Green Bay for a parcel located at 929 North Broadway. Rhonda?
Yep. So last year in about, must have been July or August, NeighborWorks came forward with us at requesting some information regarding this parcel. At that time, it was a city-owned parcel, so RDA did obtain it through the city surplus. In September, we offered them a 3-month planning option for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, single-family home. Since then, they only had 1 extension, and at this time, they are ready to move forward with the development and construction of the 3-bedroom, 2-bath home with an attached 2-car garage. NeighborWorks is also offering to purchase the parcel for the amount of $12,700. This will also be part of the Bridges construction program through the Green Bay Public Schools for the 24-25 academic year. So staff is 100% in support of that.
And I assume the 12,700 is what it's appraised at?
That's what the assessed value is at the time. Yep.
Sounds like a nice project.
Mm-hmm.
I do have to comment, it's really cute. It's a really cute house.
Great.
And it has windows.
Oh, that's critical. So I went on that
Said the
road.
magic words.
Yeah.
Melanie, sound like a motion.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Melanie, second by Alderman Scannell. Questions or comments regarding the motion?
Just a comment, right, just super supportive of the Bridges construction and renovation program. Just think it's a really wonderful program for getting folks into the trades like that and the opportunity to get real hands-on experience. It's really
Absolutely.
wonderful.
You know, and if I can get you, the RDA, actually to come, to walk through some of those, usually it's be shocked how proud the students who are part of this program are. And they'll sit and talk to you about everything that they were part of and that, and I think it's just a huge boost in their self-confidence as well as, how they feel about what the project they're putting forward to.
I thought you were going to offer us the opportunity to swing a hammer.
If you would like
That's
that.
what it sounded
I
like
think
there.
Noel's online, he could.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
No, you want me to?
No, but I would love to.
Yes, it is so cool. So I will make sure that you
Duly
guys
noted.
have the grand opening information, because they just do a fantastic job.
Or if
And
there's
the
even
kids
something
are
when
always
it's
there.
in process, where
Yes.
there's an opportunity
Yes.
to visit and not hurt ourselves or anyone else.
Well, there's a couple on, they're actually working on 2 on Day Street that are
Yep.
further
Okay.
along that.
Okay.
I went to one of those grand openings, you're absolutely right, the students are so proud and.
They are.
Talk about it.
Yeah.
Great.
And I love that
And they
they're there
should.
during the grand
I mean,
openings.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What a contribution.
Yeah, it's a great program.
So I had a motion, a second, I don't think I asked for a vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, motion carried, thank you. Number 6, consideration of possible action, request for qualifications for community land trust consultation services. This is what we talked about at our previous meeting.
Yep, correct, yeah, and thank you, just to jog our memories, the mayor's office, along with our departments and NeighborWorks Green Bay, we've been exploring the option of creating or developing a community land trust for Green Bay. Community land trusts can be a very useful tool in helping sustain and maintain affordable housing in perpetuity forever. Because one of the challenges that we often face and developers face when building affordable housing is that oftentimes there's a period of affordability, which is typically only 15 to 20 or maybe 30 years, depending on the funding source. But once that time period expires, then the manager of those units at that time could, if they wanted to, raise the rents. It could be market rates. We could potentially lose affordable housing units. One of the benefits that we'd like to explore with CLT, one of the reasons why we're exploring it, is that it would put housing, it would set them at affordable rents forever, perpetuity. So from our November meeting, staff authorized, RDM authorized staff to pursue consultation services not to exceed $65,000. Staff issued an RFP, a request for qualifications to identify consultants to work with, and I'm pleased to say that we had a submittal, and it was through Burlington Associates, they submitted a proposal which was attached to the agenda item, and very comprehensive, and also pleasantly surprised, coming in well under the amount that already had originally authorized. So after reviewing their proposal, we feel that Burlington Associates is well qualified and well suited to meet our request to explore the feasibility of developing community land trust. And we look at breaking this into phases as described in both the RFQ and also the agenda item. To initially just phase one, just explore and examine the feasibility. Can this work? Is this the right model for our city? And then if it is, that'll determine what direction we go for phase two, whether that is the CLT is a program that's housed within the city of Green Bay, or a partner organization, or if it's a organization that has to be created standalone on its own. That will impact price. But just initially looking at the fiscal impact of this for phase one alone, we're looking at approximately just under $15,000. That's not including any kind of travel or transportation if visitation is required, if this consultant needs to be on site, which I imagine he will be for at least a portion of this process. So we'd like to factor in just maybe a couple $1,000 yet in addition to that, just to cover travel expenses. But in total, really, I'm looking anywhere between $25,000 to $34,000 for the process as a whole.
And just a quick recap with the concept. The concept is the city would still own the land, but people could build buildings, which obviously be at lower cost because there's no land cost, and so then the rent can be cheaper.
The city would, for what is known for certain is that the city could contribute land to the trust.
Okay.
Whether or not the city, whether or not the community land trust is an extension of the city, like it's housed under the city as a program or the RDA, that is what needs to be explored.
Sure.
Or, for example, if a nonprofit partner were to expand their programming to include this.
Good.
Or if it just needs to be a standalone 501c3 organization that is created for this sole purpose of managing.
Both checks are in there today. On behalf of the credit card.
Oh,
Yeah,
no, please.
that's Debbie.
Oh,
Oh,
so that's Mark.
Yeah, it looks like no one wants to speak.
But Noel has a question, so I don't know if you'd like to open up the floor, because I know the consultant is
Motion
here
open
as
the
well.
floor. Second.
Motion is second, open the floor, all those in favor saying aye?
Aye.
No, please.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. I've been a part of these conversations with the city and with your staff, as well as, with Jeffrey Washburn, who's on the call from Burlington Associates right now. And just, the general model of these things is that, when we subsidize, whether it's us or Habitat or some other community partner or the RDA itself, subsidizes a project for homeownership, oftentimes that subsidy can be significant. You saw some dollars going out the door today in support of the Habitat project. Part of the development agreement with that property at 929 North Broadway includes, putting some home funds in that project. And there is, some conditions there. But typically, when somebody sells that home maybe 20 years from now, they sell it for whatever the market bears. They pocket all the equity that's accumulated, whether it's through their, the amortization of their mortgage, or whether it's, through the increasing value, in the marketplace itself for that home. These community land trusts have a different approach because some of these subsidy dollars, we don't want to just sink, and have them do their work. It's great to have them do that, but if it's lost and that home is no longer, being occupied by a modest income household and it's being sold when it turns over at the maximum price the market will bear, we've sunk that money and made that unit possible, but we're not really, gaining from it over the long haul. When we look at the community land trust model, what happens is the land gets put into the trust. The improvements on the land, the house, gets sold to that new buyer who's qualified under whatever income criteria that program designs. And when they sell that home, they are constrained in how much they can sell that home for. And that's part of the model which is developed. That's the sort of stuff that we'd be working with the consultant on, evaluating and determining as a community what would be the best approach to that. And then when those homes get sold in the future, the buyer's going to realize the equity that they've developed from paying off their loan, but they're only going to get a piece of the market appreciation. Some communities that's only 1%, some communities that's some function of the difference between the market appraisal of the property and some formula, and all that stuff needs to be determined for anything that would be setting up here. But essentially what it means is that you keep the price low so that the next buyer of that home gets to purchase it for a depressed price, and they get into that for something that's sustainable for them. And if they sell it somewhere down the line, that next buyer is also going to be meeting those same criteria and also getting a lower purchase price. So that subsidy, which up front can be a little bit higher than some of the numbers we were talking about today, keeps working forever and maintains affordability for that home in perpetuity. Not just restricting the buyer's income, as we were talking about with some of these earlier models, but they're actually lowering the amount that they pay for the home itself, and keeping that home affordable for life families in our community forever.
Okay.
And we think it's time for us to develop something like that here in Green Bay, and we want to help make it happen.
Debbie, please. Debbie.
If you go on the website for Burlington, there is a lot of teaching materials on there. So if you want some information on community land trust, it's a really good resource to look at. So, and I know that Burlington has kind of been the poster child for many years for community land trusts. So it's all good.
Will Noel, and I know I asked this last time, and you gave some good examples. Can you name some cities where this has been very successful?
Milwaukee, Madison, I believe, Twin Cities, Minnesota.
Oh, wow, one business area.
In the smaller market, Cooley Cap, which is a community action program in the La Crosse area.
Oh.
They've had a community land trust for some time.
Oh, fantastic.
So that's a good one too.
Fantastic. Wow. Good. Very good. Any other questions for Noel, or we go back to regular business?
Unless you had any questions for the consultant, he is on the line as well, Jeffrey Washburn.
I don't know if I've got any questions for him, but if he's got anything you'd like to add.
Thank you, members. I think Noel did a great job of explaining what we're looking to do, and I'm really excited about this opportunity.
Very good.
So are we.
Motion to get back to our regular business.
Motion to close the floor.
Second.
Motion, Alderman Scannell, and second by Kathy. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. We're back to regular business.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Scannell, second by Kathy to approve. Any questions or comments in regard to the motion? If not, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, motion carried. Excellent, thank you. It's a great setting. It's a new opportunity.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Number 7, with possible action to revise the Community Development Revolving Loan Fund, CDRLF, Policy and Procedures Manual.
So I'll
Yes,
just
please.
hit this is a cleanup agenda item. So we talked about the council taking up the
Yep.
possible dissolution of the EDA. This is a program that's going through block grant funding, and it has a policy and procedures manual.
Yes.
Part of that manual defines the loan committee, which is made up of EDA members in part. So this is cleaning up that policy manual, so the new loan committee then would have an RDA member and then 4 at-large members, with one being designated as a commercial banker. So we don't have to worry about, we can still function with this committee moving forward if the council approves the dissolution of the EDA. So that's really the primary change in those procedures, and then just some language cleanup.
And then this wouldn't happen unless the council takes that action.
Correct.
Okay.
With that action, so the council was forward with that, so anything with the present industrial parks, any project or request for land, et cetera, be coming to this group?
Be coming to the finance committee, actually.
Oh,
So
okay.
that the finance committee becomes about, it's got to get to council. So instead of it going to the EDA, it would go to finance,
Oh, I see.
and then to the council.
Okay, okay, I understand. So really, the function of this group really wouldn't change much, then. Okay, I understand. I guess that misinterpreted.
I think there was some talk about the potential of combining somehow the EDA
Right.
and the RDA, but I don't think that's possible statutorily with it.
Okay, that's
So,
fine.
Those letters just don't mix.
they don't-
I understand. I went through it, the changes seem pretty straightforward to me.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Matt, second, motion by Alderman Scannell, second by Matt. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Number 8, we did. Number 9. Consideration of possible action to approve revised community development block grant CDBG policies and procedures. Krista.
Yeah, so this is another CDBG cleanup item. We have policies and procedures on our CDBG program. In the past, we have used the city's procurement policy in order, when we go out for bid and when we do our public service activities, RFPing those out. We would like to change that and now go to what the federal procurement rules are instead of the cities. They're a little less constrictive, and we feel like this process will open up and streamline the RFP process for our CDBG funds and help us get them out the door a little bit faster.
So the only change is to M.
Yeah, the only change is to M. Instead of using the city's procurement policy, we are going to change that, and we'll follow the federal procurement rules under Regulation 24 CFR Part 85.
And that actually loosens things.
It does.
Wow.
Yeah, everybody just go ahead.
Why did we do that?
Pretty straightforward. Any
Yep.
questions or comments?
Motion to approve.
Alderman Scannell?
Second.
Second by Kathy. Questions or comments regarding the motion? If not, all in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Fantastic. We got a really full agenda here, Cheryl, today. That's good. That's good, I mean, things are happening.
That's right.
Number 10, consideration of possible action to approve the new Section 3B, Section 3 plan. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so currently we have a Section 3 plan in place, and the federal government made some changes to their policies on that Section 3 plan, so this is just a cleanup using those different, those new revisions to their Section 3 policies. So what we're doing is we're just including that language into our Section 3 plan, improving the new plan.
And if we don't do that, the chair gets hauled off to jail?
Wait a second, do some action here.
Oh, that's blocked.
Wait a second. Anyway. Okay.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion, Alderman Scannell, second by Kathy. Any questions or comments? If not, all in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried, thank you.
I wouldn't let them take you to jail.
No, I appreciate that. Number 11, Consideration of possible action to approve the termination of a development agreement between RDA and Miller Investments LLC. Yes.
Okay, so that was the one Astor project that we recall.
Yep.
And there are two phases to that development agreement. The first phase was the construction of the trail, the swapping of the lands between the RDA and the investor. That has all been done, taking place, the CSM is done.
Looks nice.
Payment's gonna go out with results of that trail. Phase two is the apartment units. So the owner of this project passed away. So phase two is not going to continue on. We sure hope that they sell this land and it is open for development. We're willing to help anyone who would like to come forward and purchase this, right? To do some development on site, but at this point, we need to just terminate the development agreement with the
Great piece of
prior
property.
owner. It's a great piece of property. We'd love to see
Beautiful.
something on there.
And have all obligations been fulfilled under that original phase one?
Yes. And there were, it was,
A lot
yes.
of it with us.
There was a certified survey map, there was a lot of legalities, of course, after passing that need to happen. But, yep, this is like the final phase for us to terminate this development agreement.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion, Alderman Carroll, second by Matt.
Makes me sick.
Questions or comments?
Yeah.
Me too.
All in favor of the motion, please signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried. I went over the financial report and check register, did not have any questions, but anybody else has questions on there? Please let me know. If not, director's report and project updates.
So we sent out the project updates, which has been lengthy.
Yes.
Now, is that in the packet that goes up to the public too?
I believe it is, yes.
Good, because I'm not on this at this time.
Yes. So, I mean, I can certainly answer any questions you have. I'll give you.
His IP address
Let
going
me-
forward.
I can tell you that I have, there's, of course, we've got a number of stalled projects, unfortunately, due to interest rates and
Yes.
funding going on. I have talked to Ted Malcolm on the 200 North Monroe project. He's just gotten new numbers in. He got them in like last Friday. He would like to come to the RDA in March and present a plan. He'll need to do some development agreement adjustments for dates, but he also wants to report out what he's got. He believes this project should be able to move forward.
Oh,
We're
wow.
very hopeful, but we'll see that at the March RDA.
Good.
Continue to work with Newland. I'm not sure, Mayor, if they're coming in March or April, but we're continuing forward with that project.
They should
I
come
think
in
they want
March.
to do. Yeah. We'd like them to.
Yeah.
We'd like them to do that, so that continues to move forward.
Very exciting project.
Still working with Peter Nugent on the 222 Cherry project. He's got some other property that he's working with, of course, the Three Corners property. Something needs to be done with that as well, so we're working with him on that as well, on that project. And then also, the county opened up some ARPA dollars, some grant dollars, and encouraged the city to partner with Discover Green Bay and Hyatt to request some funding for an escalator at the KICC.
Yes.
So Wendy Townsend worked on that with our other team members, and the application was a fast turnaround. I think we got that in right away. So that was a request for $1 million. So we've made that request for KICC.
That would really improve the GI, I think.
Time to escalate that improvement.
So,
One on both sides?
Any chance that would be located
Just
where
asking,
the water
just
damage is?
Actually, so this escalator talk goes back ways, right, since it was constructed.
Oh, yeah,
I think
like
that was-
since the-
even when it was being built, right? It's my understanding that all the stairways have to stay the same width that they are. That those are the requirements for fire safety. So we'd have to build it like alongside an existing stairway, or it can be done.
Good, good.
Wendy worked to get some estimates. I think we were looking at maybe, it's very up in the air, because this was thumbnailing it, right?
Yep.
But, it'll be over $1 million to put that in. But we need to take a look at it. If we get awarded the money, we'll take a look at it. Look more seriously at that.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. Any other questions?
30, well, we've got, we're working on 30 different projects at various levels. That's exciting. Keeps you out of jail, keeps you out of trouble.
Yeah, that's what I have Joanne for.
Right, that's right. Military, any updates you can give us?
I'm working on a grant for a permanent market site.
Oh,
which
yes,
is
yes, I read that.
Exciting
That would be
and
awesome.
mind-boggling all at the same time. The city's been great about helping me get data. There's lots of great data. I feel like we're well qualified to do something like that.
Good luck. Sounds exciting.
And Ed Martin actually is excited to possibly put that on the frontage on Shopko site, which we had talked about before, and I didn't think was a possibility, but it actually is turning out to be kind of a good fit.
Fantastic. Good luck. Jeff, please.
I don't have any updates today unless you have any questions about anything in the districts.
The new restaurant's open.
So yes, Heights Pub and Parlor
Heights
is now
Pub and Parlor.
open. Check it out, 6 days a week. And Asian Fusion Cuisines is open right next door. So 2 new ones recently opened.
Fantastic. Do we have anybody from on Broadway aboard?
No, none of them.
No?
I don't think so.
Okay. Any questions or for staff or for Mr. Mayor?
Question for Cheryl.
Cheryl?
Shower in Schumacher.
Shower,
Planning option
so
expires March.
it's coming, yes. We've actually spoken to the folks with Shower. They're taking on another developer, partner with them potentially, and we've met with them. They're looking at some financing opportunities potentially, with maybe some bonding or some other things, but we're hopeful that they can pull something together and come back to us in March.
Did I see something about a hotel or something? Did I-
Well, I think that was the development where they had the wedding venue, and then they were gonna have the tavern, so that and then they were looking at those possibly units above that. I'm not sure at this point if it's, would be like a boutique hotel or short-term rental or
Okay.
the plan is for housing.
Very good. Mr. Mayor, anything? No?
Nothing real big other than Founder's Day is coming up. City's
Yes.
birthday is February 27th, so
Yes.
everybody's invited. There's only a few slots left, I think. It's over at the Hotel Northland, which will be a great setting
Yes,
for it.
absolutely.
It's space limited, so, but free event, so encouraging everybody to sign up. They're interested in
Fantastic.
celebrating.
Absolutely. Looks like you got everything under control, Mr. Mayor.
We're trying.
Good, you're trying, you're doing a great job. Next meeting, March 12th. With that in mind, motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn it.
Motion and second to adjourn, all in favor, saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Keep up the good adjourn.
Recording
Will.
stopped.